Bear down, Chicago Bears. There is a debate to be had about who does Justin Fields remind you the most of in the NFL. To this point, most of the smart money, if you will, has been on Lamar Jackson. That Lamar Jackson has represented a quarterback who can make all the throws, who has the arm strength, who might lack a little bit of accuracy from time to time, but has gotten better at it over time and can run his lights out and has had fantastic, probably due for his second MVP this year. However, as of this moment, Lamar Jackson is no longer in the playoffs again this year with an overall record of 2-4 in the playoffs as Patrick Mahomes serves him up handily and utterly annihilates the Baltimore Ravens. Now, look, you might be saying to yourself, utterly annihilates. Come on, Bleeves. It's 17-10. It's not like they couldn't have had like they couldn't have had a shot. They couldn't have had a chance, guys. If you watch the game, you understand. At no point were the Ravens able to close the deal, whether it be silly plays from Zay Flowers, whether it be interceptions in the end zone from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and his team found a way again to fumble away victory. And you got to ask yourself at this point, if we're comparing Justin Fields to Lamar Jackson, if that's our comparison, then how favorable do you think Ryan Poles, if he's paying attention to this, how favorable do you think the Bears front office is looking at having the next Lamar Jackson when Lamar Jackson can't seem to get through the playoffs? So let me, by the way, if you like this content, if you don't like this content, I understand. This is not something that I would normally do. I don't like talking down about Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields represents the best option for the Bears at this time, but I'm a Bears fan before I'm a Justin Fields fan. So if Caleb Williams is the guy, Caleb Williams is the guy. However, it is important that we look at and compare because that's what we do, performance. And when we have two people or two comparative athletes and we see certain things that give us those vibes, then we have to react on those vibes and say, well, what do you think is going to happen? And you know what happened was not a good look. So let's go check this out. First of all, in closing it out, the Kansas City Chiefs win 17-10 in a game that did maintain a little bit of closeness, but let's face it, until this was mop up, until this was an immediate sense of urgency towards the end of the game. Going into halftime, Lamar Jackson had 56 yards passing, and I want to say 27 yards rushing, while Patrick Mahomes had, at that point, I want to say, he got sacked a couple times in the second half or once in the second half and lost like 9 yards. But he had more yards rushing at halftime and just was annihilating the passing game, ending up 30 of 39, by the way, for 230 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson ended up 20 of 37 for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Quarterback ratings of 100 for Patrick Mahomes and 75 for Lamar Jackson, coming up short yet again. The day before, we had this conversation about Lamar Jackson. I'm getting to the Justin Fields part, by the way. Stick with me here. We had all of the predictions. Everybody thought, oh, this is Lamar's year. We look at the comparisons between Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields. And look, again, you cannot like the fact that we're making that comparison at this point. But with the ability to rush and how well Justin Fields has played the game at quarterback in the rushing department versus Lamar Jackson, it's hard not to make that sort of comparison. So Lamar, 5.3 yards or 5.5 yards per attempt. Justin, 5.3. Number of attempts, 148 to 124. It's very similar. It's eerily similar. The difference being 227 completions versus 307 completions. Now, you might be able to say, or you might be able to argue, well, that's, the 3 games that Justin Fields, or the 4 games that Justin Fields was not in, or something like that. I mean, you can make that argument, but I don't think it really holds up. I don't think it really holds up. Points per 100 snap, 32.5 versus 28.9. As you can see, most of this is highlighted in green because Lamar Jackson in every way has been to this point superior to Lamar Jackson. Of course, having had a few more years to do this. So, again, we're just making a comparison and pointing out that this is not the same at this point. We've had far more touchdowns than Justin Fields for Lamar Jackson and fewer interceptions, not to mention much fewer fumbles, even though you did see a fumble from Lamar Jackson today. So, but then Justin Fields last 17. This is, by the way, this is a month old. This is something that came up about a month ago, but I think that it's important that we look at it because this was something that even I was using as a narrative when I was talking to you guys a month ago. Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson last 17 games. One will win the MVP. The other's future in the franchise is in doubt. 29 total TDs for Fields, 24 for Lamar Jackson, 41.92 total yards, 44.49 total yards, 19 giveaways, 15 giveaways, 84.7 rating, 94.3 rating. Very similar back and forth across the board, with one about to win the MVP, and probably Lamar Jackson still wins the MVP. But when you're looking at this, you're saying, well, look, Justin Fields is every bit the player. And I would agree in this context that I think Justin Fields is a guy who can lead the Chicago Bears to the playoffs. I think that he's got the opportunity and the ability to be a fantastic player. But now you have to ask the question, if your level of comparison is based on someone with the ability to run and a running quarterback, if you will, and you're looking at Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson just keeps getting annihilated in the playoffs and keeps coming up short and chokes whenever it matters. And Justin Fields has a 58.4 quarterback rating in the fourth quarter. Well, guys, I think this is the opportunity that we should use to have a little bit of soul searching. When you look at Tom Pelissero just made a post here, wins may not be a quarterback stat, but the numbers in playoff games are worth mentioning. Patrick Mahomes is 14-3. Lamar Jackson is now 2-4. Lamar Jackson, again, out of the playoffs, again, underperforming when it mattered, not coming through. And look, Zay Flowers fumbled the ball in the end zone, sure, but Lamar Jackson also threw an interception in the end zone in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. One of the things that you heard me be critical about with Justin Fields was the very first play after Detroit had scored, when Detroit took the lead after we gave up a 28-13 lead. The first thing, or a 26-14 lead, the first thing that happens, very first play, Justin Fields fumbles the ball, goes out of the end zone. We get a safety, and then they get the ball back, and that's the ball game, right? So, now what does this mean? What does it mean for the Chicago Bears? And I want to argue here, my opinion has not changed, and I've not wavered in my support of Justin Fields, but it is important to look at all aspects. And when you step back a moment and say, yes, I agree that Justin Fields is the man to lead the Chicago Bears, or, I feel that way, then I have to ask myself the question, well, if my comparison is Lamar Jackson, and by the way, it should be noted here, I am from Louisville, Kentucky. I am a Louisville fan. I am 100% on Team Lamar. But he hasn't won playoff games. When it matters, he comes up dry every single time. And at some point, that's just who he is. That's not just what happens around him. He had a chance today to put that team on his shoulder and take it to the next level, and he choked when it mattered. And again, you can blame Zay Flowers. It's fair to say that Zay Flowers didn't do any favors. But look, Patrick Mahomes didn't make any excuses. He went, I want to say 11 for 11 before even throwing his first throwing his first incompletion. And he went through the entire first quarter with no incompletions. He wanted that game. He performed like he wanted that game. And it might even be said at this point that the man behind the wheel on that team was Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy was the head coach for the Chicago Bears 2 years ago. So who are we? What are we to make of this? Now, this hasn't changed my opinion of Justin Fields at all. And it has given me a moment to really think about, if this is the type of football that we're going to play and that we're going to expect. And the question you have to ask yourself is this: is Justin Fields a better thrower than Lamar Jackson? Can he be Lamar Jackson, let's call it 2.0? Can he be the guy that makes those better throws? And by the way, I'm very interested to see what your take is. Is Lamar Jackson toast? I mean, have we seen the best? Is this the end? And then for Justin Fields, Is this a testament to what Justin Fields is or who he can be? Or is Justin Fields going to be the superior passer? Is there something about Shane Waldron that changes the dynamic of Justin Fields? Is there something there that, we haven't tapped into before that we're going to tap into now? There's a lot of questions right now. And the fact that Lamar Jackson has bounced out of the playoffs leads me to, at least for today, wonder whether or not Justin Fields can be that guy for Chicago. If you think that Justin Fields can be, let me know in the comment section below. Because again, I'm Team Justin. But after watching this, I have concerns. Not because of, you know what I mean. Even if you don't like it, you know what I mean. So guys, thank you for your time. Again, the Baltimore Ravens fall to the Kansas City Chiefs 17-10 in a game that felt like Lamar's coming out party. Ended up being another in a long string of underperforming affairs by Lamar Jackson when the pressure is on him. Now, and in closing, let me just say this. Maybe, just maybe, Lamar Jackson is Clyde Drexler, and maybe Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. Maybe there's just nothing you can do. Maybe there's just no chance. Maybe for all of Lamar Jackson's greatness, he's just got somebody better in front of him, and there's nothing that he can do. Maybe that's the case. But when we look at it years from now, maybe Lamar Jackson has one Super Bowl win or something like that. Maybe Kansas City falls off. But at this point, it really looks like Lamar Jackson just cannot get it done, and that makes me question the athletic quarterback, if you will, that is as good at running as they are at passing, but may lack a little bit in the passing game. So again, let me know what you think, because this is really, I'm really intrigued to see what everybody has to say right now. Whether you might not like me because of this opinion and this hot take, because I have been a Justin fan. So, but I'm curious. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below, and bear down, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.